Welcome. You have just tuned in to the book of Genesis. Get ready to fasten your seatbelts because we are stepping all the way out the box and breaking all the rules. Are you ready? Are you sure? Well, let's get into it. Here is your host, the wonderful, the beautiful, the intelligent, the wise Genesis.
Hey y'all, welcome to another edition of the Book of Genesis. Happy Wednesday. I hope y'all feeling good today. We are here again with another edition of this amazing young lady, I'll call her story, her journey. And y'all, if y'all didn't tune in last week, y'all need to go back and watch that episode. We're doing a continuation today, and I'm not going to keep anybody waiting. So without further ado, let me introduce her to the stream.
Hello
Hey,
again. How you
how
doing,
you
sis?
doing, Seth?
Good.
You ready to talk about this?
Yeah, let's get it on out there.
Look, I got my box of tissue ready.
You got your
I got my box of tissue ready because I don't know what's going to come. I don't know what's going to happen. So,
you just
all
never
right.
know.
Last week, my mouth was hanging open. I just kept saying after we were done with the stream, like, he did what?
Mm-hmm.
So we ended with the boys had some issues with their legs because of something that was happening. Joe was picking up the boys from Brianna. And for anybody that didn't watch last week, we are changing names for obvious reasons. So Joe ain't really Joe in real life, but he gonna be for the sake of the story today.
Exactly.
All right, your turn, Chica.
So I believe I left off with finding out from my oldest boy's coach that both boys were late to practice every day. So that was an issue because I was trying to figure out why they had to run a lap prior to them being able to leave with the other players when I would pick them up from practice. And that's when I discovered that there was some uncomfortability with how they were performing and that they had been late to practice 3 times. And I'm like, that's not possible. And so come to find out through talking to the boys, they finally fessed up and was just like, Mom, you can't say anything, but Dad's been hitting us because we've been asking him what's taking him so long to get us out the door to practice. Because before practice, there'll be a little roundup. They get their little orange snacks, you know what I'm saying? And they're excited about that. So they are looking at each other in the back seat. I'd have turned around in my vehicle now at this point, like, what's going on with this leg? Because I've gotten a call from the school saying that, he's late to class because he's hobbling. And I'm thinking, what? So school nurse is like, yeah, I think something really could be wrong. So me being who I am, I don't waste time. I'm on my way to the emergency room. Let's get him checked out. I get him there to get checked out. They're telling me that he might have a sprain of some sort in his knee. Well, it wasn't a sprain. He had caught a virus in his leg from the punching that was going on. So he would be getting knuckle sandwiches, as the other parent called them. Not whoopings with belts or anything, just punching in that one region, in that lower thigh area, and it caused a virus to develop.
Wow.
So he's on crutches for 2 weeks, has to have a chaperone at school. I don't know why this has happened yet. He doesn't tell me just yet. He tells me after about 3 or 4 days of us going to the orthopedic surgeon. I mean, I was back and forth to the doctor with him for a week.
Okay.
So I'm being told by physicians that this can only occur if immediate trauma was caused to that area. So I'm thinking he injured himself during football practice. He's like, no, football practice is fine. But the other parent tells us when he gets us out the car and he walks us over to the field, The coach overhears the other parent saying, Joe,
Okay.
I want you to hit that dummy and think of your mother when you hit that dummy. Meaning the football dummy.
Right.
Yes. So the coach
And
is loud. Mhm.
why were they supposed to do that?
Well, that's just him trying to groom them to hate their mother. You know what I'm saying? So that was a part of the grooming process. I learned that later on, from an actual counselor, that's how they, that's how they do. So they start with any little tedious, so he wanted them to be processing hitting me, and would tell them, so they would get specific instructions to not be respectful to me. You don't have to listen to her. She's the devil, et cetera, et cetera. Because I'm gonna take you back to the last episode for 2 seconds. Remember,
Okay.
Sunday was just another day of the week for his family. There was no belief in God. So they acknowledged being agnostic, not being atheist, but they acknowledged being agnostic,
Okay.
not being sure. So the mindset was to have me be presented as the Bible to the boys, so that the boys had no trust with me, no love, no nothing. And I'm seeing this distance, but they could only portray this image for so long because we're so close. So we get past the whole virus in the leg. He heals. I find out what's going on. And that's when Brianna is telling me, yeah, he does hit them. But I can't, yeah, she acknowledges, yeah, he does hit them. And sometimes I have to, and they cry. And sometimes I give them a snack or something before they leave out for football practice to try to console them, because they're being told to not repeat what they've seen in terms of the dad coming out the room with their sister. So they're just like, what y'all doing in here? Why the lights off? And that's just too many questions for him. So his thing is stay in the child's place. So we yank him up, punch him in the leg, whatever, real quick, go get in the car. But it was a whole lot of profanity that was used in that. They were called out their names, stupid MFers and things of that nature. Yes. So the fear is now there, to whereas they're no longer looking forward to seeing this man. They're no longer wanting to go over to grandma and grandpa's house, because grandma and grandpa have become witnesses to this physical abuse that's taking place.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, because he did acknowledge it, I was able to request a safety plan be implemented. So when I got the authorities involved, I requested a safety plan. They moved it. They read it. I mean, no, they wrote it all up in documentation. And so therefore he was not supposed to be coming near the premises. So what I do is I move from that residence to a new one. Unbeknownst to me, Brianna is still communicating with him, because remember, there's this other phone that I knew nothing about.
Okay.
So she's still communicating with him on that secondary phone that he has added to his line. And now that's how he finds out where we now live in the new residence, because he had no way to contact us. I mean, he could have contacted my phone, but that was it. Boys called me one day. I called them and I asked them what they want for dinner. It's the Wednesday before spring break. So that Friday would have been the end of the week for them. Okay. And they said they wanted steak. They wanted me to grill some steaks. They wanted some asparagus. So I said, okay. So I go to the local grocery store, Jewel, of course, and I'm leaving Jewel. I'm coming over the train tracks, coming home. My phone is blowing up. I'm listening to some nice music. I'm like, what do they want now? And it's the oldest son saying, you got to come quick, or should I go get the neighbors? I'm like, why would you need to go get the neighbors? They're like, and we think we saw Dad's car speed off a few minutes ago. We just wanted you to know, because he's not supposed to be coming around, right? And I'm like, no, you couldn't have seen that, because he doesn't know where we live. Well, lo and behold, he has parked his car across adjacent from us, but you could see this neighbor's driveway from our yard. And the boys were at a neighbor's house playing. So they did see the car.
Okay.
So they're arguing back and forth, like, no, Jaden, or no, that's not what you saw. And he's like, yeah, that's what I saw. And so she has told him to come through the patio door, and that she's unlocked the patio door, but don't let the boys see you. And they have
So
gotten
let me make sure I understand what's happening.
yeah.
The boys are at the neighbor's house playing.
Mm-hmm.
He parks down
At
the street or
he parks
a
3
little
houses
ways away
at a
from.
house, right, at a vacant home that is for sale.
Okay. And he's going to your home to meet
Exactly.
Brianna.
Exactly. And so she opens the patio door. They're supposed to be having a dialogue now because he has issues with the fact that she's not been responding to his messages for a couple of days. So he just can't take it anymore. You know, he calls himself needing to lay eyes on her.
Okay.
And so, but he doesn't want to see his boys, but he wants to see her. So she sneaks him on in. They're having a argument. I found out from the neighbor that's done because the neighbor said she heard arguing coming from my residence, but she wasn't sure who it could be because she knows it's just my daughter in the house. But she's like, I did hear a man's voice. Now this is alarming to me because I'm wondering who could she have been hearing. I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Oldest boy's on the phone, like, hurry up. She's on the garage floor. I'm like, who's on the garage floor? It's Brianna. I had some dental work done about a year prior. Don't like really feeling loopy. You get a root canal, they want to give you the Vicodin. I took 2 of them out, and that bottle stayed in the box under the cabinet for a year, along with some other junk. And so she's rummaging through my items because she's gotten so fed up with him. She had cut her wrist again and then found this prescription bottle of pills and took all 24 of them.
OMG. Wait, so self-mutilating, and
yes.
now she's taking prescription meds that don't belong to her.
That don't belong to her.
To self-delete.
Exactly. And that was her word. She had even written a little post-it note to me. Mom, I love you. I'm sorry. I'll miss y'all. Tell my sister I love her, but I gotta go. I'm tired. And so this post-it note is left in my bathroom on my counter. The cabinet doors in my bathroom and the master bathroom were still open. So this box had been there since we moved in, like 3 weeks prior. I just had not unpacked it. You know, it's lotions, it's all kind of things, junk in there. Just threw the stuff in the box. But and it was some other like over-the-counter meds in there, but cold medicine, thorough flu, things of that nature. But she was looking for something strong. And I'll never forget pulling into my driveway and opening the garage door and seeing her lay there, and her brothers are trying to resuscitate her. That image I'll never forget it. And I'm touching her. She's just, I'm barely getting a pulse because I do know a little CPR, a little, you know what I'm saying? I know some life-saving measures. And so I'm 911. My garage is still open. Neighbors walking dogs. They're like, oh my God, what's going on? How can we help? Paramedics come within about a minute. Thankfully so, we lived up the street from a firehouse. And so they immediately started an IV. The bottle is in her pocket. It's in her hoodie pocket. And there were 2 left. Okay, so that's how I knew it was 24. It was a bottle of 28. I had only taken 2. So I knew how many, you know what I'm saying? So I knew
right.
And so they really are concerned now because they're like, oh my geez, it's prescription Vicodin, you know what I'm saying? That's a narcotic. Get her to the hospital. I'm following behind the ambulance, and no, my neighbor drove my truck. I'm in the ambulance with her. My neighbor drove my truck with me. His wife followed to bring her husband back. And he brought the boys with me, you know what I'm saying, to the ER. And so I am lost at this. I am numb because I don't know what's pushed her to this point. And then I'm still hearing my oldest boy stand there and tell me at the hospital, and I think I saw Dad pulling off right when we were about to go in the house. But I don't know. I think it was him. And I'm like, why do you say that? My neighbor confirmed the description of the vehicle. You know, everybody's got the nosy neighbor.
Right.
The nosy neighbor that sits in the window with the cat or the dog and watches her soap operas. And so she confirmed that what the make and model was of that vehicle that was sitting in. She thought the individual, which is the Joe, that sits in the driveway, is someone that's looking to purchase that home that's vacant. It makes sense that she would have thought that. But she said he in turn got out of his vehicle and just kind of stood there for a few minutes. She said he looked at his phone. She described everything he had on, clothes, everything. Once they start this IV and they bring Brianna to, they get her a little, she's a little coherent, not much, because her enzymes in her liver is shut down.
Wow.
Yeah. Vicodin is a form of Tylenol, and that affects the liver. That could affect the liver if ingesting too much, and that's what had started to happen. So, they're talking about blood transfusions. They're talking about her temperature's fluctuating. It's dropping. It's not like it's elevated. It's dropping because she's getting cold. She's shivering. They didn't have to pump her stomach or anything. Everything they did was via IV. They didn't want to cause any more trauma, being that she had not eaten anything since lunch. So they were like, okay, yeah, no, we don't need to do that. But through further discovery and acknowledgement, because he was a bold one. Yeah, I was there.
Wait, what do you mean acknowledgement? I need clarification.
So once they bring her to a tad bit, and she's got a little more, she's coherent enough to where while I'm outside talking to the physicians and a counselor, because now they want to talk, you know what I'm saying? Hey, this is like an attempted suicide. We need to speak.
Self-deletion. Right. Attempted self-deletion.
Right. So we need to bring out, the chaplain, a counselor. So all these hospital officials are there, and they are wanting to get to the bottom of it. Like, here we have a 15-year-old girl. What caused this? Well, while I'm out there, the boys are in the room with her, and they're just watching the cartoon on TV. And all of a sudden, he walks in. Joe
walks in at the hospital.
Yeah, Joe walks in.
How did Joe know that you all were at the hospital?
She has messaged Joe via social media.
Wow.
Yeah. To let him know where she is and what's wrong.
So Joe comes in,
rushes right past us and the doctor. The doctor's like, hold on a second, who are you? And he goes past us, no hello, nothing, and runs to her bedside and is kissing her on her forehead. Baby, what's wrong with you?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So now at this point, you all don't know what the attempt is the cause of the attempt.
Right. At this point, she has completely turned into a whole nother person. As though I don't exist. The doctors don't exist. She's not answering their questions. She is only talking to Joe.
Okay.
And so they're like, hold on a second, ma'am. So at this point, I'm needing Joe to come on outside in the hall with me for a minute. And I instruct Joe he needs to go.
Okay.
What are you doing here? Why are you here? What blah, blah, blah is going on? Because understand now,
Joe isn't living in the home.
Exactly. And Joe not supposed to know where we are. So I'm trying to figure out how he got there. And your hospital officials are nosy. They're trying to put two and two together because they want to lock her up and put her in the psych ward for a 72-hour hold. Okay. And she's crying. She doesn't want to do it. and he's acting as though he's the father and yet the love interest at the same time. And I'm to be closed mouth because I have a safety plan in motion. And if I say the wrong thing, it can throw off what the authorities are already trying to investigate. So I am told I got to be cool. I got to be smooth because hospital's job was, because she's a minor, is to report it to
mandatory reporters.
Mandatory, you know. She left school, she came home, and then she swallowed pills. So now they're wondering if someone at school bullying her. So I had to discreetly let them know what was going on without letting them know. It just so happens that the caseworker who was working the case was an affiliate of the hospital, and the charge nurse had a relationship with her from working previous cases and things of that nature. So she understood that we were talking about something real confidential. And she was like, we're going to make sure that we discharge her to you because we've already, we understand that we don't want to open up a whole nother can of worms, draw suspicion to him, because their fear was if too much is exposed to Joe can start to retaliate. Then that puts me and the kids in danger. So less is more. Play my role, be cool, and allow them to do their jobs. So we transition on to the part. So we had a scheduled appointment for an interview between Brianna and the detectives, and for a whole interview, like a Law and Order SVU type interview. And that had to be postponed for 2 days. So we postponed it because, of course, she's not feeling her best. It got postponed till that following Tuesday. We take that drive, and she flips the script as though I'm just being insecure about her consensual relationship. The word consensual.
Wait, consensual relationship with Joe?
Yes.
So at this point, she's thinking that her and Joe are in a relationship.
Yes, they are in a relationship, and she doesn't need to explain it to anybody. She sits before the panel, and I'm watching behind a tinted screen. She's in an interview room, just like you would see on television on Law and Order. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching Olivia Benson. I'm watching these individuals carefully question her, and it's being recorded. And he has groomed her. She is speaking like him. I mean, she was always intelligent, but she's using precise words that only he would use. You know what I'm saying? The word consensual, I'd never heard that come out of her mouth ever.
Okay, so let me understand this. At this time, she's 15.
Yes.
And Joe is an 40. Adult. Joe 40. Is 40.
Yes.
And she's 15.
Yes.
But she believes that she's in a consensual relationship with a 40-year-old.
Yes.
As a teen.
Yes. She has not she's not willing to give specifics, because what I've done now with my super sleuth self, I have pulled records from Sprint and just call logs. And so that was enough for them to look and see, wow, they're talking at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. What are they talking about? What would you be talking to a 40-year-old man about at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning? And you have to be up for school at 6:30. Like, what's really happening right here? Mm-hmm. And they couldn't get the I didn't get this. I couldn't get the subpoena for the text messages. But they saw enough in the call logs to make them question what's with these phone calls.
At these
hours. Then they saw where I had a couple of notes. They were calling each other pen pal. They would exchange notes every morning. He would give a note to one of her friends. Mind you, now he has moved 30 minutes away, but he would drive 30 minutes in the morning to leave a note for her at her bus stop with one of her friends.
I have
Yes.
no words.
Yes. Yes. So we're in an interview. They're telling me, Mrs. Wesley, there's really not much we can do here because she is unwilling to give us the specific details that we would need to actually make an official charge. However, there are no statute of limitations on this. But she has become very defiant, very disrespectful, um, threatening to sue them. That's all him. Cause she's 15. Who she gonna sue? I'll sue you guys. She even used the word defamation of character. He's a good guy. He's my best friend. Why are you guys wanting to do this to him? All the while, they have plans for her to, when she turns 18, the plan was to take she and her brothers. Her dream was to always go to USC, and they were going to move to California, and she was going to help raise her brothers, and he was going to marry her.
And where were you supposed to be during this time?
Oh, I'm supposed to be back in Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
Well,
that's what had been programmed into her mind. So that's what she was looking forward to.
okay, so police are involved. She's not cooperating.
Nope.
Is the Child Protective Services get
Yes. CPS
okay?
is
They're
involved.
notified.
DCFS is notified because at this juncture, I need all hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? I needed to have all hands on deck. And in this period of time, my grandmother is dying and I'm helping to take care of her. And I got to be closed mouth. So I'm working, driving an hour and 15 minutes to help take care of grandma, help my mama, back and forth to DCFS, CPS meetings, trying to micromanage the house, trying to get the best security system I can, and um and make it to the boys' games on time. You know what I'm saying? So because now I'm shouldering everything. I mean, I was always doing that, but now when it comes to the sporting events, I have no assistants going back and forth, to practices. That's all on me, which is fine. I was able to handle it.
Mhm.
But it was a lot. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot. And then being concerned about the baby girl, like what's going on with her. So now I'm harassing friends. I'm thinking it's the little boyfriend or the little boy that liked her, but now he's being pushed aside because he's feeling intimidated by Joe because Joe's still sending him messages. Yes. So case gets closed.
Case gets closed. Why?
Case gets closed / unfounded because she was unwilling to give specific details.
She won't cooperate with
She won't
authorities.
cooperate. Exactly. Because she's trying to save him. And the picture she's trying to paint is though, I'm just upset because I broke up with him and realized I let a good thing go. My mom got rid of him and doesn't want me to be close to him. She's mad because he loves me more than he loves her. Um, my mom's insecure. Wait, how am I insecure? What? Make this make sense. When they showed me their report, I was astonished because I'm like, what? Meanwhile, and I'm only going to go meanwhile, 3 steps. 6 months prior to this, before I'm able to get the safety plan, get and change and move and change residencies, um, he's still in the house, sleeping in the basement. She's becoming defiant. I say no to something on this particular day, and she hauls off and punches me in the cheek, in the jaw.
I I got
And
nothing.
and Me being me, okay, this what we gonna do, you know. Meanwhile, he's run up from his quarters in the basement and is on her team, attempting to try to hold me so she can get another lick in. I break free. I'm hitting everybody.
Just pandemonium.
Oh, I had to lay hands on her. At this point, I don't know what's going on. So I'm just thinking my child has lost her mind.
You're trying to defend yourself.
Yeah, I'm thinking she's just lost her mind. I'm not knowing that it's because of a disagreement they've had in their little bond that's caused her to come lash out at me. She's really upset at him because she didn't always want to talk to him. She didn't always want to text him. She felt smothered. She felt pressured, but she didn't know how to tell him because at this point, he's giving her what she wants in terms of attention, the wrong attention. If I say you got to do your chores before you go to the park with your friends, his thing was, I didn't know. I'm in the shower. I come downstairs. The dishes are washed. She get dressed to go with her friends. It looks like she washed the dishes, right? No, he washed her dishes for her. Yeah.
Okay, so going.
So the police take her. Long story short with that, she hits me. My jaw is swelling. I can feel it pulsating. I've unleashed a beast inside of me that I didn't know existed. Because I forgot she was my child. I forgot she was my child, sis. She gets free from me, runs out the back door, grabs the cordless phone off the counter, calls 911 on me. They come. She tells them she's being abused. Well, she was, but wasn't by me. They come. I got a belt around my neck. I got a bungee cord, I think, around my neck because I done grab everything I can. And when they pull up, I'm just standing at the door with my hands on my hip, like, come on in. And they're like, ma'am, your face is red. Are you the one that called? Because by this time, I got some swelling that has happened because she hit me in the jawbone. They're like, ma'am, your face is red. You know what's going on?
There's obvious signs of physical altercation.
Oh, Lord, yes. And so she comes from around the corner. Let me tell you what happened. She hit me and blah, blah, blah. And he's rubbing her shoulder as a comforter.
But at this time, nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody knows what's going on. Exactly. So to the naked eye, it just looks like he's a concerned bonus parent, so to speak. But the same investigator that ended up being the investigator on the case, or the same detective, he ended up being, I didn't know what his role was at the time. He actually was a sexual assault crime detective. So those are the cases he worked on. He was just filling in for his partner who had to take an extended lunch. So that's why he ended up at the residence. Other than that, he wouldn't have been there because that's not what the call was for. The call was for a domestic dispute in which the child is saying she just got abused. So that's why he was like, oh, well, we don't know what kind of abuse it is, so let me go ahead and go. I'll respond. We later find out, once I see him again during the interview sessions and throughout the case, that's who he was, and he was at my door. And he says to me that same day, he said, ma'am, relationship like with him. He said, my spirit. He was like, my spirit is feeling. He was like, my spirit is just, I don't know. That's why he said, I just kept looking at them and something's telling me something's not right. I'm not saying that she did anything wrong to him, but something's just unsettled. He said, I know you said that you guys are not in a relationship together. It just is odd to me that he's comforting her. You're still the mother of his kids. So I would think that he'd be checking on you in your face or trying to get you some ice. I said, yeah. Because at this point, I'm still oblivious to what the heck's going on. I'm like, well, I think that was just, I don't know. they've, he's always been close with the kids, because that's where I am right now mentally. I'm not seeing that. He says, yeah, he was like, just keep an eye on that. And that just, it just threw me for a second. Okay, cool. Well, they're looking for her to be humble. She's being rough and tough and talking smack to them and disrespectful. And they're like, do you understand that you called us for your mom, but we can't do anything about your mom. Your mom can hit you all day long. And then when you turn 18, it becomes two adults hitting each other. Now we can get involved in that, because now we got two adults. But as your mother, as a minor child, she can whoop you. They're like, she can whoop you. You're not bleeding. You say your back is hurting and she's gone upside your head. This one cop was like, hey, my mama used to go upside my head all the time with frying pans. He was like, he said, you'll be okay. He said, here's the situation though. He said, our lead lieutenant, who was just in, because I got like 8 cops now at my house, 4 squad cars, 8 cops. And he's like, now we got another situation, because the lieutenant has now informed us that because now we know that you hit your mom, that changes the complexion of things. Now the state is wanting to charge you with hitting your mom. You cannot hit your parent in the state of Illinois. So he looks at me. He said, you understand what I'm saying? I said, I think so. He said, let's talk outside for a second. He said, let's see how she acts. So we go outside. He's like, let's see how she acts when we go back in and we present to her that, he said, I need to see some humbleness. If I don't see no humbleness, we're going to take her with us. And she was rough and tough again. I hit her. And if she say something else crazy, wow. They just politely said, hold it right there. Just stop right there. They were like, put your hands behind your back. Mom, you're going to let them do this to me? Pretty much.
So do they take her in at that point?
They put her in cuffs. They sit her outside my front door. They tell her to come stand outside the front door. They have radioed. Oh, they give her the full entourage. They radioed the paddy wagon, as they call it. Mm-hmm. Yes. They gave her the full elite transportation. They gave her the full experience. Yes, they did. And they took her to the police station. Mind you, the parent, is now on 10. Oh my God. Wow. So hooping and hollering, of course. And it was supposed to be a teaching moment. We were just teaching her. I was just teaching her a lesson. Where she stays at the station for 3 hours. They talk to her about the do's and don'ts. They give her a tour of the station. They show her cells. She actually will be able to view inmates and see that and see kids that are still there and on a 24 or 48-hour hold because they've been rebellious, because they had a juvenile department there at the same PD.
Okay.
Well, district attorney gets word. District attorney is asking specific questions to each officer. When I go to pick her up after the 3 hours goes, so it's like 9 o'clock by this time, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I go to pick her up. They come out and let me know she going to the big house. They're extraditing her now to the county. Yes. Because they were like, she has not learned her lesson. And we cannot send her back home with you because she's still talking about what she will do. And if you even look at her the wrong way, and he was like, that we receive it as a threat. So she's got to spend the night at least and go before the judge tomorrow. Hey.
There's nothing you can do. She goes.
I don't even see her. I didn't see her. She spends the night there at the, no. They put her on a van and they take her to Joliet, another county facility. And upon getting there, she's put in shackles and in a cell and until she sees a judge in the morning. So they didn't do a fingerprinting or any of that. They didn't do a mugshot, but they took her through everything they take an inmate through in terms of processing, with the exception of the fingerprinting, and the mugshot. Right. So it's still a scare tactic because the way the judge wanted to operate was, and they called the judge and told the judge at home, we got a new one that you're going to see tomorrow. This is the circumstances. This judge specialized in juvenile issues and domestic issues. And the judge said, okay, when we got to the courthouse the next morning, it was, we had to be there at 10:30. They fed her breakfast. They fed her some dinner the night before. And actually, she had a good dinner. She had fast food for dinner. so, but they're still not seeing any change in the attitude. They're seeing a whole lot of confidence. You know what I'm saying? She's asking, can she make a phone call? They're asking her, are you trying to call your mom? She's saying no. And they said, okay, what phone number are you calling? And I told them, I said, she might try to call
Joe.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And they had her write down the phone number she was trying to call. And they said, okay, they made her feel like they wanted to see if it was in a local toll area or something. The 630 was the area code. So come on now. So, but they had to run a little game to find out what the number was so that they could let me know what the number was. I'm like, oh no, don't let her call that number. And they were like, okay, we'll deny that then. And so that next morning she comes out, green jumpsuit, shackles around the waist and the ankles. Because it's a teaching moment. It's supposed to be a humiliating teaching moment. And the judge had to light into her.
She's still got attitude with the judge.
Somehow, some way, we never found out. Joe ended up being in the courthouse, in the courtroom.
The phone call to Joe was denied.
Yes, but he still ended up
at the courthouse.
Walking into the courthouse. Me and her biological father are standing in front of the judge with her. On each side, biological is trying to instruct her, be respectful. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Don't say nothing else, but act like you got some sense. Because biological is law enforcement, so he understands you got to go alone to get alone and act like you got some sense, or you're not getting out of here. So she still continues to want to act up. Now the biological is talking a little aggressively to the judge, trying to throw his weight around. In walks Joe right behind her, next to the biological. Biological doesn't have an issue with it. Okay. Joe has called the biological the night before to cozy up to the biological in an attempt.
Joe okay, so maybe that's how he found out. If he called the biological,
that's why I was. Yeah. Okay. We found out later on. I didn't know at the moment. I didn't know at the time. We found out later on that Joe and the biological. Joe has reached out to the biological in an effort because now she's playing Joe and the biological. She's trying to play everybody, but she's really only able to play Joe and the biological. She got them cordial and buddy. So now they're on a team. So now they're on the team against me. The three of them against me at this point.
But biological doesn't know about the inappropriate relationship between Brianna and Joe at this point.
Biological is defending it.
Defending the relationship?
He's defending. He's saying it's a lie. That would never happen. She says that's a lie.
Okay. She said she denies it. Anything inappropriate. She's obviously told Dad this. Dad says it's all a lie. He's believing the story that she gave.
He's believing the story that she and Joe are telling.
Okay, so he tells Joe, probably that she's going to be in court. He shows up.
Exactly. So, and then the biological is also instructing me listen, this is where it gets tricky. The biological is telling me in the courthouse, because they had to take a recess real quick while the judge goes and deliberates, talks to her team. What do you think we should do? Should we let her go? Or, they're talking about all the cases at this point. They go back and forth. There's like 15 cases going on. And so me and the biological are talking. And the biological is telling me, takes his sunglasses off and says, look, I know something is not right here, but I need you to just fall back. I got too much heat on me right now. I got a similar situation. And I can't allow anything to interfere with my situation. So you need to just chill. Because I don't know how much time I got with my situation. I'm looking like everybody's lost their mind at this point, because I cannot just chill. As a mother, we cannot just chill on something like that. So I got to play a role now, so I don't blow up in this courthouse and they take and put me in shackles. My objective is to get her the help she needs, get her up out of here, get her some counseling, blah, blah, blah. I get the counseling set up, because at this time, anytime there's a DCFS investigation going on with a minor, no matter how young they are allowed free counseling and afforded free counseling up until the age of 30 or 25, I believe it is. I believe it's 20, or I believe it's 30. And there's no statute of limitations on it. So I had counseling set up for her, free counseling.
Okay.
It worked for 2 sessions, and then she was refusing to go. So at that point, the counselor's like, well, we can't force her. You know what I'm saying? It's not court ordered. You did your part. You just got to, you just got to wait. And the biological disagreed. The biological felt like the counseling was going to cause her to maybe, come forth and do this, that. Well, that's what we want. We want, it's better for third party if she's trusting a third party. Then if she's not going to respect where I was going as a mother and trying to protect her, maybe the counselor can help, because the court will listen to that. No, she doesn't have to go back. I don't want her to go back. So he convinces her not to go back. So at this point, Brianna's like, I don't want to go back to counseling, because she's got the support of the biological and Joe. So basketball games now. Oh, I'm stressed at this point. I'm stressed. I am stressed.
Okay, now wait. Let me make sure I understand where in time we are. The basketball games that you're about to tell about, this is after the attempt at self-deletion.
Yes, she's playing traveling basketball.
Okay, so self-deletion attempt, unsuccessful. Child Protective Services is involved. They say that it's unfounded.
Unsuccessful.
So she's back. Counseling, 2 sessions done. Now we're back to life as normal, or
trying to become some sense of normalcy.
Is believed to be normal at that point.
Exactly. So you got different school functions that are happening. She's in a talent show. At this point now, I'm not telling anybody about anything, right? I'm not even telling the biological.
Okay.
I'm not telling the biological. She's finding avenues to maintain communication with Joe. Whether it be a friend's Facebook Messenger, whatever means she had to, because I'm trying to understand why he is in the parking lot of the school, or his vehicle's outside. I forgot my phone charger. But where I was sitting at in the auditorium for the talent show, I get there like 20 minutes ahead of time. I can charge my phone right there. It's like a charger, right? Like a port right on the floor. Mm-hmm. So I leave the boys in there. I come back, and my oldest son, again, he's like, man, I thought I saw Dad. That was creepy too, because it was like I saw him and then he kind of moved back. I'm like, no, you didn't see him up in here. But I didn't tell the oldest boy. I think I saw his vehicle too outside. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, no, it wasn't him. He was there. He was there. Other parents.
So after this investigation, there's no, hey, buddy, you might want to stay away from there.
He is being told by authorities, less is more. We can't tell you that we believe that you did something one way or the other, because they don't want to hurt their jobs and their careers. But the same token, they're giving him they're in tears. I'm seeing 4 grown men and 2 female detectives literally in tears, because they were like, your daughter doesn't even understand that she was violated. She doesn't understand. And she was violated by a narcissist who is a master manipulator. Her word usage, the grammar, the dictation, the authority that she's speaking in, it's like he's here and he's telling her what to say. Yeah. And he's telling her what to say. And so they're like, we were just done. Like this is sad, because out of all the cases that we've had, we love it when we get a kid that can draw us a picture of what happened. They're 5 or 6 and they can tell us right here, and they draw a picture and they point to, or an arrow, or put a smiley face. They say, put a smiley face where he touched you. They put the smiley faces there. They say, oh, we love that. That's cut and dry. It's these right here. We've not had anybody that's been manipulated like this before. And they couldn't think of one. They said, she made us feel like we need to go back to school and figure out how to do a thorough investigation. Like we have all the answers, but she is smart enough and has been groomed well enough to whereas she won't bite the bait.
So
no matter how they form the question,
he continues.
So he he's fallen off the grid a little bit. But they're still communicating.
Okay.
So they're still communicating, and they're communicating in a very stealth mode fashion. He texts her, she deletes it or whatever. Because now I have it set up to whereas I can get these text message reports now. Or I can see what number she's texting. I can't see what's the information or the dialogue exchange, but I can see what number is texting, what she's texting. And so it's not 2-3 o'clock in the morning anymore. It's during school time now. So it's during study hall, or it's after school on the bus, for that 15-20 minutes. It's whenever they can get in and fit in. And then her teacher's calling me saying, hey, she's asking me, do I need to get her bladder checked out? Because she's asking to go to the bathroom so much. And I'm like, really? She's in the bathroom texting. She's not having to use the restroom. She's using that as an excuse because it's a no phone rule allowed. So she knows if she goes to the restroom,
breaking the rules at school to keep the contact.
Right. And so he did whatever he could to maintain contact. So that's so as we move along here, because every detail matters with this situation, because everything is connected. It's all connected. Her, the biological, the bond that she allowed them to create together, her making the biological feel comfortable. This man loves me. He would never do that, Dad. She done manipulated. Because understand now, she's being coached to be a liar. She's being taught how to be a liar. So from a habitual liar, which is the Joe. And her biological is already a liar. He's a professional in it, but she's running game on both individuals at this time, and and getting more and more frustrated at me because I'm not buying it. I'm still
what's her motivation for that?
Her motivation is to make sure that she has some ally. She has an ally. Okay, so she has built up the facade of I'm safe, Dad. I'm good when I'm with him. He takes me to get ice cream. He loves me. He has my back when she's being hard on me. They're both telling the biological that I make her do these chores and I'm too hard. We all had chores as kids. No, that's not the case at all. Yeah, if you dirty up your dish, you need to wash your dish. You know, you're not Cinderella up in here, but at the same token, you got responsibilities. So she won't let me go to a sleepover. Nope, you're not going to a sleepover, because in my mind, you might be going to a sleepover and sneaking out your friend's window to go see Joe.
No.
Nope, nope. So now I'm on an island all by myself fighting this. Still trying to help mama with grandma. You know what I'm saying? Still got that. Still got
that fast and hard.
Man, coming fast and hard. So school is being dismissed at this point for the summer. So we're in May. And she goes for a sleepover. This is 3 days before school gets out. She's supposed to go spend the weekend with her dad and her big sister, and doesn't return. And at this point, now, okay, so now hold on. We got a second case now. The second case is a friend that has called DCFS because she's told a friend about her relationship with Joe.
Okay.
So now these parents now, but what she is telling friends is, because Joe is telling her, I got your back. I know what you got to do, but you got to make it seem like your mom knew what was going on and was okay with it. So now this new case has got me looking like I'm a full supporter of the molestation of the alleged 40-year-old. Exactly. Mm-hmm. But because I'm so head over heels in love with him, I don't want to split in the family. I am okay with it. So they're looking for proof, like, wait, what? But right now, today, if a child is at your house playing with kids, happens to say something like that, your mindset is going to be to call and save the child. You're not going to question, no matter how cool you are or friendly you are with the parent. Your mindset should be I got to do what I got to do to protect this child. So I'm not so mad at the parents for that. They did what they were supposed to do. And one of them was a mandated reporter. So worked in childcare previously, but she still had the mandate, the mandate status. It had not expired. So the point is that she did what she had to do. She came at me a little aggressively. I was about ready to, we can do this, we can lay hands if we need to, but hold on, what you talking about? How could you let her get hurt like this? How could you let this happen to her? Oh, wait, what? So then we had the second case. So when the second case opened, that's when she wanted to exit left and suggested
when she's going to the sleepover, or you think she's going to a sleepover, but she's going to dad's.
She's going to, and she only took enough for 2 days. Left everything at my house, everything. So at this point, the investigator's like, you know what? It's so many lies going on that side. She was like, I feel like you're the only one that actually has some common sense. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Let her stay. I mean, she's free from the predator, alleged predator, because she's in a whole different county. The biological say he's going to put her in school out there. Mm-hmm. So let's see how it goes. She's like, let's see how it goes. She said, because you still got these two little ones that you got to maintain here. So what do? I move again.
Third time.
Now I done moved a third time because I need some peace. I need to move again because now I need to make sure he doesn't find out where this residence is. At this stage of the game, what's benefiting me is I'm liquid financially. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm liquid financially, so I can make these moves. I can say, hey, I'm not going to drive my vehicle for a week. I'm renting vehicles now. I got to the point where I'm renting a new vehicle every couple of 3 days just to be in the shadows, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And I shouldn't have had to do that, but that $350 for the week, it wasn't even it was nothing. So I'm spending as much time with these boys who are so confused at this time. They are just like, oh my God. And they're thinking that they see him because he's still playing the stalking role, trying to go by parks that they play at. Oh, it was just so stressful, man. Like, it was like, Lord, can I get free? Can I just get a week free? You know what I'm saying? So what happens? He doesn't know where we live. The boys are now a little older and they've transitioned to now middle school and another elementary school. I'm like, hey, we're going to switch schools too. So we switch schools. So they're in school right next to each other. He finds out from a former football player, teammate of the oldest son. Oh no, so he goes to such and such now. Like, wait, what? Oh, okay. So now he starts sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yes. So now he's watching in the parking lot. He takes it upon himself one day to walk into school and ask to see him. I haven't seen him in 6 months. I want to see my son. Principal, like, who are you? Your name isn't even on any documentation. You know what I'm saying?
You guys don't have, just for clarification, you guys don't have any scheduled visitation at this point.
At this point, I am Mama Bear. Y'all not seeing nobody. They're not wanting to see anybody. And no, so 6 months has gone by. 6 months has gone by. No, okay. We don't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what we're doing.
Okay. So he walks in school. He wants to see him.
He walks into the oldest boy's school, and he wants to see him. And the oldest boy, now both principals, because their schools are side by side, both principals are now wondering, who is this guy? So one principal phones over to the other principal, like, hey, do you show on your roster? I have one brother here. Do you show on your roster this person listed? And so he's now becoming argumentative at the front desk with this. Why does that matter? I'm their father. Do I need to go get a birth certificate? She's like, well, I have the birth certificate right here. Let me see your ID. Well, this is what we can do. Because here's the thing. I'm at home in the shower. So I didn't hear my phone ringing. They're calling me to tell me that somebody is at the school, but I didn't hear my phone ringing. Get out the shower and phone is ringing again. It's both principals on a three-way call now calling me like, listen, he just left here. Oldest boy did not want to see him, wouldn't even hug him, and was just like, what are you doing here? And he became upset and he started talking to the oldest boy like, what do you mean, boy? This, that, and and he's charging at them because that's who he is. So he's becoming a disciplinarian. And oldest boy is standing with the principal and looks up at the principal and says, can I go back to class? No hug.
He doesn't even want to see him.
No, he doesn't want to see him. And so oldest boy's counselor comes out and the oldest boy's counselor is like, is everything okay? And he's like, no, it's not. Can I call my mom? So now they're looking like, okay, we got a situation. Secretary picks up on it. She's called on-campus security now, which is actually an actual officer. He comes. He's like, sir, you know what? For the sake of keeping students, because now they're changing classes. So there's kids filtering through the office, student workers, et cetera, et cetera. It's a junior high. Asking questions. Hey, can I get my mom left my lunch here? Whatever. So they're trying to get him to come into the office, the actual principal's office. He's unwilling. They're like, I tell you what, you're just going to have to go. Because we don't have anything stating that you can see. Now the other principals walked over to this building, to the oldest boy's building, like, okay, so what do we have going on? She goes back to the building. They get me on the phone. He has sped off because the same result happened at the youngest boy's school. Oh, he was far more belligerent. The youngest boy is like, he's a jerk. Get him away. I don't like him. So he became a little more outlandish their biological did, Joe, and I get there and I'm still wet. I have on clothes, clean body, but I didn't even dry off all the way. I'm out the door. And that's when I went to apply for the emergency order protection. Emergency order protection is denied.
On what grounds?
I still do not understand to this day, because I had statements from both principals and the third principal from their previous school, because he was going there harassing her. I had 3 statements that were notarized by 3 principals saying this man is aggressive, he doesn't understand boundaries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They still would not grant it. So what does he do? 3 months later, during summer break, this is somewhere around July, sheriffs come to the door with documentation where he is subpoenaing me for custody and child support.
He now wants custody of the boys and wants you to pay him child support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does that go?
Not well. I go to court with the boys. I appear in court with the boys. And he's under the impression that last he heard I had not been served. So he's thinking that it's a cookie cutter case where, good, she's not showing up anyway. He doesn't know that we're there. So I'm hearing him in the hallway speak to, and he didn't have an attorney. I didn't either. I was pro se. I just showed up for the appearance. Okay, let me show up. So I brought the boys with me. And he doesn't know that we're sitting, because we're on the back row, me and the boys. The door, there's a door that like opens into the courtroom. And if that door does not close flush, it's 2 little glass doors that push open. If it's not flush and there's a crack in there, you can hear what's going on in that little hallway foyer area. And he's talking to another attorney, asking for 2 minutes worth of advice. Hey, I know you're not my attorney, but blah, blah, blah. Soon as I hear him say, she's a B, and she accused me of some, she tried to get her daughter to say I touched on her. And so the attorney's like, hey, hold on a second. Wait. That sounds like something I can't get involved in, sir. I wish you the best. And he's like, I can't tell you like this, though. It will probably go in your favor if she doesn't show up. They might grant you temporary. I can't say. He said, this judge she's wishy-washy. So he walks in, and once he gets to that third, we're on the very back row. So if you don't look to your right or your left, then you won't see anybody. Once he gets to that third row, before he takes a seat towards the front, he looks back, and the youngest one says, don't look at me. And so Joe bucks up as though he wants to come back, and the young one, I dare you to do this. Yes, in the courtroom. And so, people from all walks of life are in the courtroom. You never know who's going to be there. So, our case is called. I didn't know that some of my customers, because I worked for a cable company, I didn't know they were going to be there. Some of them, all walks of life. They hear the word alleged sexual act of a child, they're ready to attack him. So we had to end up getting a continuation. And of course, he's playing victim. I'm going to be hurt, which wasn't the case. They weren't going to do anything. They were really just messing with him. However, I'm in court fighting for these boys and their safety for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just under 5 years. Let's see. Am I right there with that time frame? No. Let me back up. Well, over 4 years, almost 5. Yeah, it was. Because the case was still going on in 2018. Yeah. Yes. I was served in 2013. The case, I had to file 3 appeals and won all 3 of them. Yes.
Didn't go as smooth as that.
Didn't go as smooth as that. No, ma'am.
Didn't go as smooth as that.
No. I had to actually bring the judge up on some charges.
Brought the judge up on charges.
Yes, she was removed from the bench and is now a traffic court judge. Yeah. So needless to say, we were able, the last breaking straw for us, me and the boys were, because I done skipped over one big part here. We were betrayed by a family member.
Okay, tell us about that.
So we got an older sister, firstborn daughter. She decides, because in the interim period now, I'm fighting for my life, fighting for safety of the boys. The lost grandma in 2012. I lose everything. I lose because this man puts in a false claim that I'm bothering him on the job. So we happen to both work for the same company because he comes and wants to work back with that company. So they rehire him as a dispatcher in the department. And I'm still the top 10 echelon of my company in sales, right? So I'm 6-figure income earner, whole new tax bracket. He's $10.50 an hour. That's still an issue for him. So it's now like, how can I mess with her some more? So I'm working from home mostly and out in the field. I don't have to report to the office, but he starts filing false claims. So my VPs are like, look, let's do this. We don't want to terminate you. We can't. Yes, there's an investigation. Yes, this looks bad for the company, but we have a contract department and they need somebody to run it. They need somebody to orchestrate it. You'll have territory in the south suburbs, the western suburbs, northwest Indiana. What? You're gonna give me a company? You're gonna give me my pay. I'm gonna be a contractor. I work when I want to work. And it was a little less pay, but still it was enough to keep me afloat. I can still take my investments and roll them over. 401k, IR, all that. Employee purchase plan, all that. The ESP. I can turn all this over, keep that, or just cash out and still be employed, but not have to be around him. Sure. So he thought he was winning. No, security walked him out of his job once I turned over the court documentation that showed, because understand now, even though he has not been charged, he's still been investigated as an alleged sexual predator.
Okay.
Well, for this particular company, you can't have access to accounts. You're seeing personal information. You're seeing people's PIN codes, passcodes. No. That's what his department that he worked in would have access to. Nope. Today, your last day. So May 1st, 2013, I transitioned to a department. He thought they had him thinking, oh yeah, you won. Yep, she's no longer here. He later found out he was walking out with his little professional cardboard box of belongings from his desk. And I'm watching from an office window as he gets into his vehicle and leaves. Security is walking him out. And he finds out from another mutual co-worker of the same company that, man, no, she's doing good. She didn't get fired. Wait, what? So this individual sends a picture of me and everything in my little work shirt, hat, at a corporate meeting that we had. It was a corporate luncheon that we had, and now I got to deal with more drama. Because in his mind,
She still got a job.
I don't. Right. I don't. So now my life is in shambles because now I'm back at home with mom and dad. They want me out of here because I don't have a job. Because I can't pay the cable bill anymore. So he files a new claim. Now he just wants joint custody. So here comes the case again. So that's where the appeal court comes in again. So it was just never ending. And it's like, are you serious right now? So now that 6-figure income I had has depleted. All my savings has been depleted because I'm using it for guardian ad litem fees, for counseling fees, for court filing fees, for the counselor fees, because we had 3 different counselors. I'm exhausting everything. Now I'm in a position where I've never been in before. Because I'm not about to ask mom for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because mom is still dealing with losing her mom. So I'm not about to ask her. I'm trying to keep her free from the burden of worrying about me. So what I do is I just get rid of that house. I'm living in a hotel with my boys. We're living between 2 hotels because now I'm facing eviction. I'm getting up, taking them to school every day. They don't miss school. They don't miss a day of school. And I'm selling. Everything's in storage. I'm selling everything out of my storage. I'm selling toilet paper out of my storage. Because if I don't make these payments to this guardian ad litem, I'm gonna be held in contempt of court. And it's $600 every 2 weeks. Yeah. And you got to have it. Mind you, he is claiming he is indigent and has no money. He's poor.
So you're the only one that's responsible for guardian ad litem payments. He doesn't have payments of his own to make.
Not paying. It was supposed to be split. It was supposed to be $300 a piece. It then becomes he's got supposed doctored up documentations that show he has nothing
because he's indigent now. That exactly. Fee is solely your responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm the respondent. He's the plaintiff.
Okay.
So they're buying, not to mention when we're in court, he and the judge seemingly have this charming relationship. She's telling him, "Oh, you smell good today." Really? Is that what are we doing right here? How about call the case number and let's get on with the show? You're telling, and then he's smiling. "Thank you very much, Your Honor. I try." Wait, what? So she's falling for this charm, or he's complimenting her and the eyeshadow she had on. "That green looks nice on you," before the case is heard. So he has already started grooming her, and she doesn't understand it. So maybe she was lacking attention. I don't know, but they had this sweetness that he even called her honey once. So I'm thinking, now I'm still fighting. I'm fighting. There's a new court date that's been scheduled, and he has me served at an address I don't live at any longer. They don't forward that. He mailed it to that address. I purposefully didn't do a change of address because I didn't want him to know where I was living at. So that mail is sitting there. Nobody lives in that house anymore. It's sitting there for weeks. So it looks as though it was received because it wasn't returned back to the courthouse. It looks as though it was received by me, the respondent, and I just chose not to appear in court. So what happens? I'm in Florida with my boys. Spring break, early birthday gift. And so this is, I'm in Florida with the boys. I get some told me I had all this mail that had mounted up on my dining room table. And I'm like, okay, let me go look through some of this stuff. I had been given a notice for a warrant for my arrest, and I'm in Florida and didn't know it. For a failed appearance.
Failure to appear,
yes. And ordered to pay $2,500, turn myself in, pay the $2,500, or appear in court, because there was a new court date that was scheduled too. So I filed a motion to stay that.
What's the $2,500?
It's supposed to go towards the clinical psychiatrist so that the boys and myself can be evaluated, as well as the other parent, Joe. It's supposed to be $5,000 total. He paid $2,500. I paid $2,500. His parents paid his $2,500 because in their mind, we're going to get the boys. Well, that doesn't go as planned either, because upon them meeting with this counselor, meeting with the boys, she thinks that she can be rough and tough and aggressive, and that's not what they're about to listen to. So they're just like, wait, no, that's not going to happen. You know, she starts questioning them about an event that took place, a MacGyver event that took place the summer prior, where I'm on vacation. My house is surrounded. They're with the big sister. My house is surrounded with authorities, thanks to my sister, the Book of Genesis.
We know nothing of what she speaks.
So my boys are hopping fences and dropping flip-flops in neighbors' yards, toothbrushes and boxes and everything. But they get to safety. Okay. So when he starts bringing all that up, because he makes false allegations that they're in the house, no food to eat. The babies are in the house, is what he claims. Babies are in this house at this residence. There's no food to eat. There's no electricity. It's 100 degrees outside, and they're suffering. They're losing weight. Lies.
So authorities are looking for a well-being check.
Are looking for a well-being check, and he has already set this up with the big sister. So we got an inside mode.
So the big sister is in the house at the time.
The big sister's living in the house with the boys and the mom, me, at the time. I just happened to be on vacation for a week.
Okay.
School is out. They're with big sis. Big sis is at work.
Who is of age?
Who is 25 or 24 years old at the time. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's of age.
She's at work.
And they're of age because one is 15 going on 16 and the other one is 11. So
the 15-year-old is old enough to
exactly. So what alarmed the authorities is no food to eat, haven't eaten in 3 days. There's no water, there's no electricity. That's alarming right there, because now it depicts that they're living in squalor, so to speak. Oh, and that there are animals in the house. What I still don't know what those animals were.
Okay.
Still lost. So all those were lies, but it was enough to get the attention of CPS, DCFS, and the local police department and the sheriff. So residents is surrounded. Block is lit up with squad cars. 8 o'clock in the morning, they're banging on the door. I'm calling older sister. She's at work. Like, I have no idea what's going on. Why would that be happening? Really?
But she knows what's happening.
Whole time she knows, because
she's orchestrated it.
She has helped to orchestrate it. Yes. Yes. She and her biological. They're in them. So how we get free is he sends when that doesn't work, school's back in session, he sends one of the most notorious gangs, because he's not a gambler. He likes to play cards for fun. He likes to go to tournaments of such. So spades, with things of that nature. Not a drinker, not a smoker. But if it's a card game going on, he'll fly to go to the competition.
Okay.
So he's playing these games with people from all walks of life. It doesn't matter what neighborhood it is.
He goes.
Okay. So now he has linked up in a tournament with some of the most notorious game bangers or affiliates in Illinois. Not going to name that game for the sake of confidentiality.
Okay.
But he's made friends with them and told them what he has going on and what he's dealing with me. They find favor with him. Oh man, we can handle that for you. What you want? You know what you need. We can ride out there. That's nothing. You know, we'll put some of our young cats on that.
So he's enlisted the help of gang members.
Yes.
To carry out whatever plan he has.
Yes. Yes. And calls me from apps, you know, saying things like, watch your back. Can't prove it's him because he's calling from an app and it's a out of state area code. So now I can't even make a police report on that because it looks like it's anonymous.
It's a random number.
I have no proof of it. I have no proof that it's him. So I can't make a claim. I can't make a charge. I can make a report of these phone calls, but that's it. I think that the attempt was to intimidate the boys more than me. So what he did is he had them come to the house. They spray painted the garage. Me and my boys leaving out. Garage door comes down. I see this red spray paint on the white garage door. And I'm like, what's happening? We were on the road, escaped Illinois, and got to Oklahoma, been here ever since.
Wow.
Still filing appeals, still fighting the third case.
So wait, when you escaped to Oklahoma after this gang incident.
Mm-hmm.
You guys pack? What do you do?
Oh yeah, we packed. See now, and that's the other thing. We always kept a bag ready. So yes, we packed. We planned it out. I had just been here to visit my now husband, and we had just discussed and sat down. I was here for 2 days, and we were simply here to discuss me moving here, looking at the schools. Okay, cool. This is what we're doing. I enrolled in school. They enrolled in school. I graduated. I'm now a certified massage therapist. Oldest boy's out of high school, working for a credit union. Youngest boy has his own business.
What happened to Joe?
Joe's still in Illinois, keeping up drama with other people's lives because Joe transitioned to another relationship and was accused of doing the same thing. And now has a 5-year plenary order protection on him.
From the other case.
Yes. Yes. From the other case.
And how did your case end?
So my case ended with me filing that third appeal. Filed the third appeal. Had to wait a little longer. Once I had to order all the transcripts. So all of the sidebar communication that he was having with the judge, it was all being recorded and transmitted by the court reporters.
Wow.
Had 8 different court reporters I became friends with and a clerk at the courthouse. Free of charge. The tab on the transcript expense should have been $3,200.
You pay nothing.
Zero. God was on my side. Because they were looking at this like, oh my gosh, those transcripts went to the chief judge's office. And a copy went to the appellate court. A copy came to me. I was instructed on how to file it. Appeal was filed. Case was reversed and remanded. Yes, ma'am.
Any contact from Joe?
No contact from Joe. Every now and then he tries to, we find out that he's asking questions. Have you heard from them? He's made a couple of mistakes in trying to send a friend request. I'm saying they're mistakes. I don't know, but I think he inadvertently hit that button and then rescinded it.
Okay. And where's Brianna at now?
Brianna's still in Illinois. She's still estranged. Wants nothing to do with me. Nothing. No contact. I have a
no
granddaughter.
contact since she left going to the sleepover, no contact with Rihanna.
We've had a few. No, we've seen each other since then. She just does not want a relationship. She does not want to really dialogue. She just wants to act as though she does not have a mother.
Okay. And is she still in contact with Joe, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, no. To my knowledge, she doesn't even like the name to hear the name. But to my knowledge, I actually feel like there's a resentment because it's like I took away her right for privacy, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or I should have known, I should have seen what was happening.
Okay.
I didn't react soon enough. So there's some resentment there. And I accept some blame from it. I own that. I should have had my eyes
Well,
wide open.
now where you are there signs, they always say hindsight is 2020. Are there
Mhm.
signs that you see now that you're removed from the situation that you feel like you should have seen back then?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that had I not been so caught up in the career
Mhm.
and the achievement and in making sure the kids had the best of everything, I think I wouldn't have had blinders on. My mindset was my kids have everything they need. I'm doing what I'm
Work,
supposed to be doing. I'm
working,
providing. Exactly. Because he's not. So I have to. So, I had everything growing up. But at the same token, I can understand that I now can own that I should have been paying more attention.
Mhm.
I should
So
have
if
been
go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm just I should have seen the warning signs and taken heed to them. Not just been so caught up in, okay, I want him out my house, but what else is going on in my house? You know what I'm saying? What's going on right here
Mhm.
under my roof? Like something's going on right here, and I don't know what it is. And then when she did acknowledge something happened, and then took it back and said I was just lying and wrote a letter of apology.
She acknowledged something happened and then rescinded it.
Rescinded it. Yes, rescinded it.
And what do you believe?
I believe something happened, especially after he admitted to me that he did it. That's gonna be part three. That's part three's episode.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was gonna lead up to that, but rounding out today, we
Yeah.
gonna come back with yeah. I don't even know what to call it, but
Yeah.
you had to give some advice to parents
Mm-hmm.
or single woman that's now
Mm-hmm.
dating or cohabitating with somebody. Either way,
Mm-hmm.
however you want to, you know, advise. What would you say to those mothers with children? Because we know that, we everybody wants to be loved. We all,
Yeah.
single women are looking to date or get
Yeah.
married. What
Mm-hmm.
would you tell those mothers that have children at home?
The first thing I would tell them is to, because I feel like I gave my kids the proper steps to take, like let mommy know if somebody touches you. This is yours, your temple, your body. Nobody should do this, that, or the other. So I was always reiterating that. Didn't feel the need to reiterate it as much as I was about the outside world in terms of my home. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
while I did reiterate it, or I did instill it in them for the home, I didn't do so as much as I think I needed to. I think I needed to make them I think as a single mom with girls, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to how they're interacting, meaning your man and your girls. Um he shouldn't be so friendly with them. He should not he shouldn't be treating your girls like he treats you. See, so Valentine's Day, the teddy bear with the diamond necklace is cool, but why are you buying 3 of those? Why am I getting one and my girls are getting the same one?
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't process that then. I'm just like, oh, this is just a beautiful gesture. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wow, that's no big deal. Because I'm about to get out the door and go make this $1,000 today. Do you see what I'm saying? Or why is my oldest boy is telling me that they're at the mall, she's in Victoria's Secret trying on items. See what I'm saying?
Gonna say that for episode 3.
Part 3. Yes, ma'am.
Because we gave some of the story, but it's a whole lot more to the story, y'all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Never know who's in your house.
Never know who's in your house.
Your roof, sleeping in your bed or in your basement.
And the other piece I can say is, don't be so quick to think that the man's family is against them. Secrets came out.
You were thinking that the family was against him whole while there was something else going on.
Because when the relationship started out, that's what the preamble was. Hey, I don't have a good relationship with my family. They're against me. They say things about me that aren't so pleasing. Episode 3 will divulge more about that.
There's a reason why.
Yes.
Parents were the way they were.
And siblings.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to cut it off right there. We're going to come back next week with episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into the juice of it. Not necessarily juice in a good way, but we're going to tell about that part of the story. And then
touch on a little bit of Ron.
Yeah, we still got to go back to Ron and the police misconduct. So y'all make sure y'all tune in next week. We're going to continue the story.
Amen.
We'll talk to y'all. And I will talk to you later.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. See y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Book of Genesis with your host, Genesis. If you would like to be a blessing, would like to be interviewed, or if you or someone you know would like exposure for your business, call us at 708-595-7500. Again, 708-595-7500. Email at genesis@thebookofgenesis.com. That's JENNESIS at thebookofgenesis. JENNESIS.com, or contact us by regular mail at P.O. Box 40, Monique, Illinois 60449. Thank you again for listening to the Book of Genesis.